Last time I made a tier list on Street Fighter, and it actually did pretty good, so I want to say thank you guys for that. But now it's time to tackle my favorite franchise. Pretty controversial, but my favorite franchise. Tekken. Tekken, whether you like it or not, is a very great gaming franchise. Obviously, Harada is leaving soon, and it's pretty sad. Or he already left, I don't know. He's leaving soon or he already left. It's pretty sad. I'm not happy about it. And that means Tekken is pretty much at the end of an era. It'll never be the same. But that's a talk for another day. Right now, we are doing the hardest final bosses in the Tekken series. I won't do it how I did it with Street Fighter, where I put the sub bosses and final bosses into one group. It was just very complicated with Street Fighter. But with Tekken, no offense to Street Fighter, I got pretty much the same format. Like it's pretty easy to tell who's a final boss and who's not. So I won't have to put any sub bosses in there. And since we're on the topic of sub bosses, the rules are simple. I'm not putting any sub bosses in the game. It's only going to be final bosses. And I will not be ranking Tekken 7 or Tekken 8's final bosses, simply because I'm just too good at Tekken 8. And on top of that, some bosses have requirements where you have to get a bunch of perfects, and the character I main, let's just say her moves require her to lose a significant portion of health. And as for Tekken 7, it's just pretty much the same thing, except for I don't really main a character on that game. I don't know, that game is just a different story entirely. Also, another thing with Tekken 7 and Tekken 8, they have story modes. And I will not be tackling any story mode bosses. I'm strictly going for arcade bosses, and I'm doing classic Tekken. Just classic Tekken all the way, Tekken 1 all the way to Tekken Tag 2. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But other than that, that's the only stipulations I have. Anyways, let's get on with the tier list. Okay, first up we have Heihachi Mishima from Tekken 1. So Heihachi, he's pretty strong. I would say he's very strong. The second you hop into the fight, he just has a very aggressive start. You can't even start the fight mashing, because if you mash, he'll duck it and grab you for a power bomb like he did me. But besides that, he's just very powerful. Like, the mechanics of Tekken 1 is alone like a challenge. Like, unless it's the first ever Tekken you played, like, if you're like deep into Tekken like I am, the mechanics of Tekken 1 is pretty difficult in itself. And like the way you do things it's not super different, but it's different enough to like where you can struggle a little longer against Heihachi Mishima. And it's not just the mechanics that's really the hard part. Like, we can talk about his moves. Like, for instance, he has a dragon uppercut, which is not the electric, but it's like where he drags his fist across the ground a little more and he just sends you to heaven. He has the dragon uppercut, which takes basically 75% of your health. And if you get hit by it for the first time, it'll really catch you by surprise, because you're up in the sky and you just happen to take a glance at your health bar and you're like, wow, I'm already at 70% health? It'll have you thinking it's one shot if you were like low health or something like that. But yeah, he's just basically pretty powerful. The formula to beating him, you really just need to be patient. Honestly, you can't sidestep. It's just a simple 2D fighter. You have to be patient. He's pretty easy to bait out, because he really relies on that dragon uppercut. And if he's not doing that, then he's doing like an axe kick or something. You know, some basic commands that do a lot of damage. And really, that's all it takes to defeat Heihachi. Honestly, I probably wouldn't rank him any high, and I definitely wouldn't rank him too low, because I was definitely fighting him for a good minute. I would say Heihachi's actually a good challenge. Like, that's a pretty good start to the Tekken tier list. Like, I would say he's a pretty good challenge. Okay, as I'm currently editing this video and doing a voiceover thing, I realized that Devil is actually a pretty like unfair person to go against. So I had to make a tier just for him. I'm letting you guys know where he's going before I even explain why he's going there. But yeah, I literally had to make this tier for him. But we have Devil from Tekken 2, the very first actual difficult boss from the arcade days that everyone has suffered against. So, Devil, I'm gonna just start off by saying he's very, like, obviously unfair. Everything he does just seems odd to me. Like, when I went against him for the very first time, I noticed that every time I would try to attack or just think in general, the AI would be 5 steps ahead. I would throw a punch, he would duck him, Ultra Instinct style, and then hit me with the grab. Or he'll do even worse to me, but most of the time I gotta grab. His laser is not only unblockable, it stuns you in place for him to do whatever else he wants to you. Luckily, I've never suffered that fate either, but when you get stunned, it's like, wow, it really pisses me off. I'm not heated or anything, I'm just explaining the scenario. And obviously he has a lot of damage, he does a lot of damage. His laser pointer especially does a lot of damage. When he does the flying one, that's when you have to panic, because the flying laser shot that he does is so difficult to dodge. And the game, I'm just not realizing it's a 3D fighter. The game feels like a 2D fighter to me, but it's incredibly difficult to dodge and stuff like that. You would have to be really in his face, and when you're up close to him, that's when he's the biggest menace, because when he's up close, he just wants to literally turn you into a human punching bag. And I'm not gonna lie, even when I was getting beat to death by Devil, his theme song is actually really good. I actually do like his theme song a lot. It has like this like sad atmospheric like theme song, like the world is over, there's nothing you can do to defeat me, like. And it was true. I was fighting him with the sad theme song playing, and it genuinely felt like there was nothing I could do. I was basically in a domain expansion at that point. But really, enough rambling for real. I would say Kazuya obviously goes in the unfair but winnable tier, because I did win in a kind of lucky way. I got really lucky, but you know, it was pretty unfair, but I managed. Okay, so we are off to one of the arguably greatest Tekken games of all time. But we are talking about the final boss of that game, who is, for me personally, a little disappointing. We're talking about Ogre. Now, Ogre, he's okay. He's not incredibly like easy for the average person to beat. Like, I would say, like, if I was a little kid, I probably would struggle to beat him. But really, all Ogre is, he's just a powerful being mixed with like the greatest moves from like half the roster of Tekken. Like, he has the like multiple kicks thing that Lee has, and then he has some moves from the Mishima family, some moves from Jun Kazama. It's nothing really intimidating. He's like, in my opinion, the clearest example of getting to the boss is harder than fighting the boss itself, because I remember struggling way more on the arcade than the arcade like levels than I did with the final boss of the arcade. Like, Paul Phoenix specifically was just giving me the work every time. But Ogre, like, his first form and his transformed like outfit, like his true Ogre fit, it's not really that bad, honestly. I feel like if I really wanted to, I could have beat him on first try, but most of the time, and I think out of all my recordings too, it took like 2 tries, I think, to beat him. So I'll just put him in, took a couple of tries. There's not really much to talk about with him. I mean, I wish there was more to say about him, but there's not really a lot to talk about with him. So I'll just say he took a few tries, and we can just go to the next person. Sorry, Ogre, and sorry to the Ogre fans. Alright, and we are officially out of the PlayStation 1 era, and we are on to the PlayStation 2 era. We have Tekken Tag 1's Unknown, or Jun Kazama, whatever you guys want to call her, but she's unknown. So Unknown is pretty scary to go against, if I'm being honest. Very intimidating. I would say the way I beat her was pretty lucky. Like, I won by pure luck in my eyes. But Unknown, she has the ability to not just fight like Jun Kazama, she can switch her fighting style to any person she chooses. And I don't remember how she does it. I think she has to like key charge or something like that. But she can switch her fighting style and just become instantly unpredictable. She could do anything from any character, and it's a scary experience. I personally, for me, when I played, getting to the boss was like a billion times harder than like the boss battle itself. I was stuck on a fight with a team of like, I think it was Eddie. It was Eddie and someone else on the team, and they had me fighting them. It was Eddie and a Mishima character, and they had me fighting them for at least like an hour, maybe 2 hours, just because they kept switching up their strategy like an online player and just straight up abusing me. Like, you would have thought Sonic Fox was playing against me. Like, that's how bad it was. And when I made it to Unknown and had to deal with all like the fighting style changes and stuff, I was expecting a very long fight. I was expecting another 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. But you want to know the one thing that saved my life in that fight? The time limit saved my life. The time limit was just on by default, but I know without that time limit, I would have been cooked for life. There would have been no way I would have been able to beat her. But for me, it was pretty... I counted that as a dub because I was already stressed out. So I would say it was a pretty easy fight for me. So I would probably put her in, took a couple of tries. But if we're talking without the time limit, oh, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know how hard she is. But yeah, that's pretty much all with her. Also, I do like her theme song. I like that it gives off the end of the world aesthetic like how Devils did. Just gotta let that part be known as well. Okay, and here's why I had to say only arcade bosses exclusively, because Heihachi is the final boss for most characters, but if you play a story mode like Jin or Kazuya or Heihachi's, then the boss battles would be different entirely. So I figured, okay, Heihachi's the final boss of like every character on a normal arcade, so I'll just put Heihachi there. Heihachi Mishima, he's not bad. He's not bad to go against, actually. A lot of these Tekken games have something in common, like of just struggling to get to the boss. That's really the hard part, struggling to get to the boss. When I made it to Heihachi, he was just a pretty decent challenge. Honestly, he has moves that irritate you, like the power bomb. Oh, he loves to grab you in this game. He loves doing a grab and power bomb. If you're against the wall and unlucky, he might hit you with a wall combo, but that's like really rare. He usually just goes for the power bomb and some like annoying counter move that gets you. But besides that, Heihachi's not really that big of a threat, but he's also not that easy either. So he's just kind of just mid. He's just there, you know? So I definitely would put Heihachi in, I would say he's just a pretty good challenge. He's next to the first Heihachi. Just, you know, pretty good challenge. Nothing crazy. I do like the theme song. I like the crazy like rock theme song. I don't know what about it is so good, but I mean, to me, but I think that's enough talk for Heihachi Mishima. Alright, I'm sure the PTSD is coming back for you guys when you hear this theme song, but now we have Jinpachi Mishima, the true nightmare of Tekken in my opinion, arcade-wise, because story-wise, it's a different person entirely, but arcade-wise, Jinpachi is one of the biggest threats that I have ever faced in my entire life, of just fighting games in general. Like, he has such an arsenal of just the most unfair things ever that just puts him above unfair. He's the worst. And if you guys don't believe me, allow me to break down some of his moves for you for a second. So, for starters, he has a move where he puts his palm out, just like, I don't know, like he's shooting a key blast or something, and it slows you down. You would think it's unblockable because of how fast he does it, but it can be blocked. And most of the time he does it, it'll catch you off guard. And while you're just stuck in place, he can literally do whatever he wants to you, and he does a lot of damage. He can hit you with 2 overhead punches and you're out for the count. And then he has a move that everyone hates, even me, where he shoots a beam from his stomach. And depending on how he's feeling, if he wants to really make you upset, he could shoot 2 of them boys from his stomach, which is the worst thing ever. I remember the first time I got shot by the second beam because all I thought he could shoot was 1. I sidestepped it, I was getting ready to rush in, another beam straight to my face, and I'm like, what? He shot 2 of them? That's insane. So yes, Jinpachi is the king of unfair. Honestly, way worse than unfair. And I would personally rank him way higher than unfair, if I'm being honest. And I'm not even speaking for myself, I'm speaking for the people when I say this. Jinpachi is actually a nightmare. Like, fighting him is pure torture. There is no way that anyone could possibly be as hard arcade wise as Jinpachi, because this man is just crazy. Like just thinking about it gives me nightmares. He's that bad. All right, and next, I can't forget about this guy. We have the Jinpachi from Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection. Now this man is actually very similar to the first Jinpachi, but he's also very different. Like, his moves and the way he acts is very different, but they're both like, they both have the same moves. It's almost like you're fighting a different person who just looks like someone you know. That's just how it is with Jinpachi. So the way he fights is like, it's like it's glitched, but like it works though. It's hard to describe it. I can talk about his stomach beam again, because this man can literally shoot out of his stomach, but like it looks like it's coming out, but it's also like charging at the same time, and it leaves you like kind of confused. It's like, okay, what is he doing? And then once you just decide to run up on him, or just, I don't know, just stand still and laugh at him, the beam just magically comes out. And on top of that, he can still do the little like shoot 2 stomach beam thing. I think he can shoot 3 on here. But he's just like, he's pretty unfair. Honestly, I don't really know how to properly describe him without just saying the same things about the PlayStation 2 version of Jinpachi, because like they are really so similar, but like but you know, it's just different. I guess I could bring up the moves that I didn't mention in PS2. He has a little like dashing move too, where like if you hit him, he can dash out of it while charging a stomach beam at the same time and just shoot you, which 80% of the time is gonna get you, unless you're just lucky or really skilled to dodge it at that time. But like, I would say he's pretty much the same level as the first Jinpachi, honestly. I believe I beat him a little quicker on the PSP because I was already familiar with his game on the PlayStation 2. I mean, so I would honestly just put him in the same spot. He's just right next to Jinpachi, because if you play against him first before you play against the PlayStation 2 version, you're probably gonna have a way worse time against this one compared to the PlayStation 2. So, you know, they're just in the same tier, honestly. I'll put them in pure torture. And then we can get out of the PlayStation 2 era, finally. Alright, and we are officially out of the PlayStation 2 era. We are in the PlayStation 3/Xbox 360 era. And we're going to start off strong with this one. We're going to start off with Azazel from Tekken 6. Now, Azazel, he has a simple formula on how to beat him. But as for mastering and figuring out that formula, that's the hard part. Azazel, like his moves, the counter window is almost like pretty glitchy on some parts, where it just bothers you, because you can only, the only way to beat Azazel is with counter hits. And the way he operates, it's like, depending on how he feels, sometimes a counter punch that could be thrown could, well, if a skilled player would say, they would say it came off too early or too late. But sometimes when you feel like you're throwing them when you like really hit a counter hit on time, Azazel just somehow, invisibility frames, hits you with a move, and now you're stuck in a combo, or you're far away from the screen, you gotta run back up to him slowly because of how he fights. And it can really get annoying, especially if you already know the formula and you're just having a bad day. But if you're brand new, you're probably gonna have an even worse day because the counter hit system on there is just like insanely stupid. I remember being stuck on a fight with Azazel, like when I fought him for the first time. I remember being stuck on a fight with Azazel for at least like an hour or two, only because I could have sworn I had the formula right, but just nothing was working for me. And little did I know, all I had to do was 1-2-2 repeatedly with Heihachi, and I won the whole match. Mind you, I tried that again on a rerun, and 1-2-2 did not save me most of the time. I was still on the fight for at least like 45 minutes to an hour. So it really just depends on how Azazel wants to fight. And that's just annoying to me. Like, it's really annoying. I genuinely can't stand it. There's really no good side about an Azazel fight at all, in my opinion. I probably would never want to fight Azazel again. And when he returned in Tekken 8, I was in tears. And he had the same formula. It's just like, man, Azazel, I just honestly don't want to fight him right now. Like, that's honestly how I look at him all the time. So, yeah, he's definitely without a doubt going in the very annoying tier. That tier might only be for him. I don't really think anyone else would go in that tier. So, yeah, Azazel, for sure. Very annoying. Alright, how do I talk about this boss without being super biased? Because in my opinion, I personally had a good time fighting her. But I have to remember that she literally kept me on the stream for another hour and 30 minutes. We are talking about Jun Kazama / Unknown from Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Now, I wanted to split her up into two characters because her first phase is already hard enough. But I'm gonna just combine them both. I'm gonna talk about the first one and the second one. So, you start off all peaceful. You just finished beating Ogre with that like hardcore rock music. It's pretty catchy. And then you start off with Jun. It's all peaceful. She walks out of the light or the gates of heaven, wherever you all are fighting at. And she's all quiet. She's chilling. You know, you're expecting a good fighting session. You're having a fight with her. And you throw a punch or a high kick, and you notice she parries it. That is that whole fight, the whole first part of that fight in a nutshell. All she does is parry high. She basically is a countering monster. I think there's a version of her on that game called Counter Lady because of how like powerful her counters are on that game. And if you're lucky to get through the first phase, because all it is just her countering, so you gotta just throw mostly lows and stuff like that. And if you're lucky to get through that phase, then the music changes and everything, and then that's when you gotta fight the more scarier version of her, which she can do all of these unblockable attacks from under the ground. She can extend her combos somehow. She has an animation where she can hit you through a wall. I've rarely seen it. I've only been hit by it like one time. And on top of that, she can also still counter, which Unknown is unable to do. That's just the boss battle mechanic. And for most people, that is possibly like one of the most annoying things ever. Like, the only reason I wasn't mad about it personally is because I main Jun, so I was trying not to be biased. But I did rewatch my video and I seen that I was on that fight for a good... It felt like a decade. Like, it felt like the fight was never gonna end for me. So definitely, this is like the nicest person I've ever been to on this list. I would definitely put her in unfair but winnable, because she pretty much is unfair. Like, the AI decides when they want to parry your move, so I would definitely put her in unfair but winnable. And yeah, all right, this is my Tekken tier list right here. All the classic bosses from Tekken 1 all the way to Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Obviously, guys, your opinion matters. I need you guys to let me know if my tier list is pretty relatable. I mean, I'm sure it probably won't be for some people, but here's how I personally felt. This is my opinion on how the fights went with all the characters. Obviously, if there was a character I would change, it would probably be Unknown from Tekken Tag Tournament 1, but I probably won't fight her again. I'm not really motivated enough to fight her again. So yeah, guys, this has been my tier list. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you like the video. Let me know your feedback. Tell me what games I should play next or what tier list I should make next, because I'm not really big on tier lists, but if you guys want to see more, I'll give you guys more. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll make sure to put everything in the description where to catch me and everything like that. But all right, guys, I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'll see you.